All right. All right, so here's what I got for you. I had a gig this weekend, and I didn't have time to bring these drums back to the guy's house that owns this. One of the guitar players in my band, he actually owns this drum set. I don't own a drum set this big, and the reason why is it's a lot of stuff to move around, and it's really heavy. So most of my drum sets are pretty small, and that's just kind of how I like it. But for the kind of music that we're playing, basically playing heavy metal music. These are the kind of drum setups that you typically use. You guys are used to using smaller drum sets, 4-piece, 5-piece kits. So I thought this would be kind of a special thing for you because it's got, I wouldn't say a lot of cymbals, but more cymbals than you guys are used to using, more drums than you're used to using. And the obvious thing is you have 2 bass drums. You guys, if you've been in that room, you've seen the double pedals I have in there. We've never actually probably played on a double bass drum set. Who has? Kyle has? Zach?
My cousin has a huge drum set with like 20 cymbals and 2 bass drums.
2 bass drums, okay.
I think
Kyle,
it's 8 tenors.
What's that?
I think he has like 8 tenors or something.
8 toms, you mean?
Toms, yeah.
Oh, okay. Kyle, what about you? Once, what, like at a show?
Yeah.
Like when you're one of the bands your mom managed or something like that? Was it the band that you always wear the shirt of? I can't remember what they're called.
That'd be interesting playing the saxophone.
Is it Oddlaw?
Yeah.
Is it Oddlaw? Okay. Alright, so most drum sets have a 22-inch bass drum, and these are 2 22-inch bass drums. They can be 20 or 24 inches, are pretty common as well, but these are standard 22-inch bass drums. And usually on a drum set you have 12-inch, 13-inch, and a 16-inch floor tom. This drum set has a 12, a 13, 14, a 16-inch floor tom, and an 18-inch floor tom. And this is almost like bass drum size, this one over here. And what I don't use for this drum set, but is also a part of this drum set, is over here you can add there's a 10-inch drum set or drum that comes with this drum set, but I don't use it just because I don't like using it, mainly because it pushes the hi-hat further out this way. And in a minute I'll let you guys come back here and actually play this and check it out, but because of this bass drum, I can't put the hi-hat as close to the snare drum as I'd like. You guys are used to playing the hi-hat about right here. Can you see where my stick is? But this hi-hat's way over this way, so it's a little bit of a stretch in a way that's not comfortable to play, but you get used to it just like anything if you practice that way. So here we have 2 bass drums instead of 1 bass drum, and instead of 1 bass drum and a double pedal. So here's kind of the pros and the cons to that. If you have a double bass drum pedal, the good news is you have 1 bass drum that you have to tune and worry about, and that's really nice. The double pedal also saves you on room. So you don't have this bass drum here, so you don't have the space problems that this creates. But if you're playing fast notes, or just, whether they're fast for a long time or fast for short beats of time, they can sound kind of muddy. It's kind of like if I do this on the big tom-tom. Fast notes just start sounding like a drum roll. Whereas on a snare drum, it's usually pretty clear. So when you have 2 bass drums, the kind of cool thing about that is you don't get that drum roll effect when you play fast. You get a little bit more clarity out of the bass drums versus 1 drum. It's also a punchier sound because that attachment pedal that has like the bar and then that pedal by itself usually doesn't produce as much power or as much control as a regular pedal does. So usually when you're playing double bass pedals, you don't feel like that extension pedal feels the same as the one that's attached to the bass drum. So it doesn't feel as good. Don't fall over. Remember, this might be on YouTube, and if you crash, it'll be on tape. And I won't edit it out.
Tape.
Well, we'll hear it.
Oh.
Alright, so here's something that's really tough about the double bass drum. So yeah, there's a space issue here, but something that's really hard to do is tuning 1 bass drum and another bass drum the same. Biggest problem for me is I don't hear low pitches very well. So if I try to tune them the same pitch, it's just hard to do because I just don't hear low pitches very well. So that's hard to do. Another thing is just tuning drums in general is tough. So if you have to tune 2 drums exactly the same, that's just hard to do because you got a top head that has to be the same with itself and another top head, and the bottom heads that have to be the same with each other. So that's always hard. These drums are pretty close, but they're not perfect. So I'm going to play this one a few times, and then I'll play the other one. And you'll hear where the sound's coming from, but you'll hear that they sound a little bit different. And the other thing about it is like how you muffle the drums and how you control the overtones. Even though I have the exact same systems on each, they're not pressing with the same tension against the drum head, so some of the overtones are a little different as well. But if I play the notes just simultaneously all together, it's harder to tell the difference. Especially when I get everything else going. Okay, so 2 bass drums. Obviously, if you have more tom-toms of different pitches, you have more melodic sounds to work with. So that's part of the case, but with the style of music. But something else is the fact that all the drums are big drums. Usually, really heavy rock music or heavy metal music, they use big drums just because they want more low end, more low sounds, and bigger, louder sounds. Snare drums are tuned usually a little bit differently. Most of the drums I tune around here, this is not a good example of one. Most of them I tune kind of tight and open. But on this drum, this snare drum here, I'm almost never going to play this the same way. I'm not trying to get a good sound out of the drum. I mean, it sounds pretty decent. But I tuned this drum specifically to have a good sound when I hit it in the middle. And so it has this special impact thing in the middle. So when you hit it, it's punchier sounding. It just kind of takes off. Whereas this other, where am I at? This one doesn't take off quite as much.